Let's work on animating the left wrist. We'll select our left wrist control, go into our perspective and graph editor view, and we're going to start with the rotate X, and we'll animate it similar to what we did with the right wrist, so that as the character is pushing off, we'll rotate the wrist so that the hand is more flat palmed as the character is pushing off. So on the rotate X, on frame 66, we'll just rotate it, the wrist more in, and then we could even check out our key, see how that's looking, see how range is looking there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And then when we scrub through, notice, okay, we're getting some nice motion as the character is pushing off. Great. So with that done, we can now go ahead and work on the translate Z of our arm as it's coming back, because notice it's locking up here. So we want to go to this key on frame 71. We'll hit F to frame this region. And what we need to do is just take this key on frame 71 and bring it down some more so that the arm isn't locking up. It was. But we want it to appear to look as if it was near locked. So let's scrub through and make sure it's not actually locking, but just appearing to be locked. And on frame 72, notice that it's still a bit locked here. So what we can do is take this right half of the key on frame 71, the tangency of it, and middle mouse button click and drag down. Okay, so that, again, the arm appears to be locked but isn't quite locked, so we can avoid that, the IK locking. Alright, great, so that's better. And then if we back up, hide our curves, and just hit play to check out how our arm looks now, notice the fall is much better. Awesome. Great. Well, with that done, let's go ahead and work on the follow-through for this left wrist. And we'll go to the rotate Y and begin. So the fall of the left wrist is actually pretty good, and it is offset from the right, so we won't have any twinning issues. But I kind of like the fall of it. So what we can do here is go ahead and just use this value that we have on frame 81, but just delay it a few frames to about frame 83. So let's take this key on frame 81 and bring it down to 83. And remember, we can do that from here using this text field, just typing in value of 83. Great. And notice when we do that, we still get this nice fall off with the wrist. And the reason why we wanted to do that or add that pose right there on 83 is because as the arm is coming up, that's about the point where the wrist is going to rotate back for the follow through, okay, as the arm is coming forward. So once we have that key there, you can now go ahead and move to 88 and actually have the wrist rotate back there. Some for the, again, for the follow through as the arm's coming up. And then as it's moving up and then starting to come back down, we'll go all the way to 103 and bring up the wrist some more. Like that. Great. Let's see how this looks in a play blast. We'll hide our curves and just find a good view and render one off. How about from this angle here? Here it is. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, but let's add a bit more fluidity when the arm goes, or when the wrist goes from its position as it's that it's in at around here on frame 83 to where it moves back. Okay, because there's a slight pause in there, and that's because we just have some flat tangency we need to adjust on frame 83. So we'll just close that out. Can bring back the visibility of our control curves if we want, and in our graph editor, we'll just take this key on frame 83 and bring up the right half of the tangent handle, again, to get a better flow in here, to fix the fluidity. So now if we were to render off another play blast, getting even closer in there so we can really see how our motion's looking, we'll see the fix that we've just done. So let's render one off from here. Here it is. Great. Wow, that finishes up our left wrist, the follow through for it, which brings us to our next task, which is going to be animating the fingers. And we're going to work on those starting in the next lesson.